Okay, so now let's move to another conversation now. Mr. Fashazi, we have to charge him for some extra time. He did take our time there. Looking at what's going on in the food and beverages industry, we're going to be discussing with the Finance Director of Cadbury Nigeria PLC, Mr. Gaga Loge. Mr. Loge, good morning and thank you so much for joining us. Well, I know that POS conversation and then the cyber security also will affect you, because it will affect when you pay for your airtime, when you buy petrol and all of that. Have you taken time to look at that, or what have you heard about that cyber security levy? Good morning.
Good morning, Alice, first. I think I was listening to the conversation from the president. I think those are additional costs that will probably affect consumers, because they will have to bear that cost. Like I said, that cost will be passed to the common man. So, and in terms
of companies too.
And companies too. So that would also increase our cost of doing business.
All right. So now we've seen Cadbury's report pre-tax loss 28.2 billion, full year 2023, a decline from 1.3. Is this all about the forex? I mean, the loss that you recorded last year.
If you look at the financials critically, even the one for Q1, you will see that we actually made an operating profit. So operating profit is actually the profit you use in running the business. But after operating profit, that's where you see the FX losses. So the FX losses, I think for last year was about 31 billion. So which is actually what wiped out the entire profit that we made that year.
And then we saw PMI, standing PMI, we saw a moderate increase, 51.1. They said there were new orders. Do you feel that new orders? Can you tell us it's a reality that there were new orders, talking about the PMI, the purchasing?
Yeah, I saw that report. Actually, we're hoping that things would get better. You saw the FX rate now. It was, I think 6 weeks ago, it was 1,001, 1,002, but now it's 1,004. That's also additional cost. And those costs, of course, for us to continue to make profit to run the business, you need to pass on those costs to your products. And once you pass that cost to your product, you have to take price increase. Whenever you take price increase, you know what happened to consumers? They had to step back, because they have to actually check how much they have in the pockets. So I'm hoping that we're able to get an increase, because if you get an increase like Stanbic is forecasting, it means that what we sell, the volume of what we sell will actually go up as well. But we don't see that coming in so soon because of the recent devaluation of the Naira. Because if the Naira stays at a particular level, I heard you said you were hoping to get to 700 Naira.
I'm praying. I will not give up.
I will join in that prayer. But once that happens, you just imagine the benefit that we'll see in most of the FMCG sector. Because once the dollar goes up, it affects our input cost. We have to bear that cost and pass that cost to the consumer. Otherwise, it will affect the quality of goods that we produce. Yeah,
but if we try to make lemonade out of lime, wouldn't it be a good time to turn to local raw materials as a way to cut off the impact of FX?
So that's the point. The local materials have an impact to FX. For instance, cocoa beans is planted in Nigeria, is produced from Nigeria, but the price of cocoa beans goes up if the dollar changes, because the man will also want to export. If he's exporting and getting good rate from exporting it, why would I sell to you at a loss? So in spite of whether it's a local production, the point is that it will have the cost of producing that local goods has an impact to the FX. So if the FX goes up, you expect the local goods as well to also go up.
So there's no way we can, hedge around this FX with
It's difficult.
Local?
It's difficult because the point is that it's like you see inflation. Once you have the devaluation, it affects common goods on the streets, because we are an import-dependent nation. And even though the local man wants to produce locally, he also needs to get some materials. Some might be imported. Some might have import FX impact on it as well. So that's why the issue is that the dollar and Naira, we need to find our level. It needs to get to a state whereby you can actually plan well. Because how can you wake up one morning, it was 1.2, all of a sudden it goes to 1.3, 1.350, 1.4. No one knows what's happening. No one knows what's causing that. So it's difficult for you to plan with that kind of rates going up and down.
So for your industry now, the food and beverage industry, what do you see as, by the end of this year, inflation? We're hoping that by the end of the year, before the end of the year, it will peak and then it will start declining. But what do you see when you look at the macroeconomic indices and then the industry that you operate in?
Last year was tough. So I think you saw the results for most of the listed companies in the FMCG industry. Last year was very tough. So the losses we made from FX was huge. I think this time last year was about 400 and something Naira. Then before the end of the year was about 900, 1,000 Naira. Now it's 1,400. I don't think it will get to that difficult situation we find ourselves, because I think most of us were living in the fact that, okay, with 430, 450, it gets to 700, you're fine. But we saw the real rates, I think in the first quarter of this year, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. But now at 1.4. The point is that I don't think we will be in that kind of difficult situation we were last year. So I think most of us now this will probably like a recovery stage. For most of the issues we've had last year, most of the losses we've made last year, we need to now start running the business in a manner that it will be profitable, will manage our, because when you take pricing, it affects your volumes. So you just need to it's more of a recovery stage that we are.
But how do you recover when the Naira is even less valuable than it was last year?
You see the Stanbic report. They talked about the fact that pricing has gone up significantly. If you look at the price of bread, this same time last year was about 500, 600. Now it's over almost 2,000 Naira. So you have to take pricing to recover your cost. So once you're able to take pricing in a manner that you recover your cost, you should be able to stabilize the business. The point is that if the dollar continues to change rapidly, then it becomes very difficult, because once you continue to take pricing regularly, it affects the consumer. They'll probably just drop the product and find something else to consume, and that will affect your business. So I think what we're hoping is that we're seeing some of the reforms that the CBN is doing, and we're hoping that the Naira stays stable. If it stays stable, we should be able to plan, and at least that plan should probably help us stabilize the business this coming year. Yeah,
but you know, a lot of businesses have also had to re-strategize, cutting costs, re-strategize their production and all of that. Isn't Cadbury doing something like that?
Everyone is doing it. Everyone is doing it, because the point is that why will I have a factory that can produce lots of volumes, but yet I'm only getting about 10-15% of it? So I have to cut the cost to actually match the revenue I'm getting. Otherwise, you won't be able to match your revenue and your cost. So I think everyone is doing it.
I hope that's not affecting quality, though.
No, that's the point. For us, quality is important. Quality is very, because the point is that if I begin to manage my quality because of costs, you won't even want to pay that price for the product. So the point is that quality has to remain. Otherwise, why are you buying those products?
All right, we certainly hope there'll be a level of certainty, in every industry, not just in the food and beverages. And we'll see better numbers. I know the Q1 numbers are already out.
Yes.
And they're looking a bit better than full year of last year.
Correct, yes.
So we're hoping that full year of 2024
that we have something to rejoice about, yeah.
At least smile if we don't laugh.
Exactly.
All right, Mr. Gegaloge, the finance director of Cadbury Nigeria PLC, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, talking about finance now, let's look at how the market fared yesterday. I don't think it was, something to rejoice over, but it was down 0.48%. That's for the NGX at 98,228.50, and the market cap is still around 55. Funny number, 55 right there, trillion Naira. That's what we had. Top trades again dominated by the Fugas, the big guys, UBA and Access Co, Transco. And Transco's results has been looks really, really good, but there was a lot of profit taking in the market yesterday, especially in the Fugas. I think the Fugas were down at the close of trade yesterday. Well, as I always tell you, at 1 p.m. you have more into market today to be with Anyete Edet. I believe he has a whole lot of conversation waiting for you at 1 p.m. But on the whole, we have 55 minutes of global business journey on Business Incorporated. You don't want to miss it. Join me then. Back to the Sunrise Daily Studios.